So what have you been making profit in the last 12 months?
I don't really know exactly the answer to that.
And that, family, that is why, one more reason, I don't want to deal with someone who is self-employed. I don't. Numbers for a lot of people are self-employed because they love their hobby so much. They love their hobby so much. That's what they're focused on. They're not focused on the dollars. It's kind of like musicians. They love their music so much that they just sign any contract to anybody. All right, here we go. This is why you never build a business on debt. And if I have set this up, I should hear it in my headset, and you guys should hear it online as well. Let's do it.
Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
Well, recently I found out I was having a baby and got engaged, and she has a daughter of her own from before we were together. So I started getting serious. I own a construction business, started getting serious about paying some stuff off. The baby's kind of making me, sweat a little bit because it ain't just me anymore.
Good for you.
To take care of.
Good man.
Well,
yeah. If you're having a baby and you're like, oh, no problem. Unless you are independently rich, wealthy with all the nannies lined up. Okay. You probably should be a little bit nervous. And even if you have a lot of money, you should still be nervous because that is someone you are going to be responsible for, regardless of how much money you make. Right.
I've had a construction business, and had a ton of debt, had about 30 employees. We're doing $4 to $5 million a year for about 3 years in revenue. And for 23, I thought, I was on my high horse, thought I was, and taking on a lot of debt. And then things slowed up last year. I had to continue to lay off more and more people. And it kind of just snowballed down. And
what was the debt for?
Oh, just random things like business loans. A lot of it was equipment that I've currently liquidating most of it.
People, family, this is why I don't deal with self-employment. Now, again, I want to make very clear. It's not that I'm against people, trying to be entrepreneurs, go for it. After having dealt with it in my own relationship with a spouse who was self-employed, I'm not a good self-employment spouse. Okay. I'm just not, it's not a lifestyle that matches me. And I'm speaking from my own personal experience, but like what do you have here? I have my notepad, family. I always write down notes here. Okay. 4 to 5 million, but it's not what you make, it's what you keep. And for me, the constant stress of someone being self-employed, and it's that classic question, all right, are we in a business or are we in a hobby? It doesn't matter, in my opinion, how much a business makes. If you tell me, yep, we're just taking out loads and loads and loads of debt, that just simply means you have a bigger hobby than other people. I had a cake hobby. I had a cake business that didn't last long because I was like, I really don't want to try to put a lot of money into it. All right. So I came to that come to Jesus moment and I said, okay, Carrie, you've had this for 6 months. Hey, don't laugh. At least I figured it out in 6 months and not 6 years later, and I owe the IRS because I didn't spend enough on promoting my business or whatever. Okay. I got out when it was early. Again, I'm not saying that somebody should not take on entrepreneurial risks and all that, if you have the money to back up the loss. But unfortunately, it's my experience that people who take on these entrepreneur jobs, all right, because it is a job, even though you're your own CEO, all right, you're still having to take on the responsibility. And my experience, honestly, guys, is just that a lot of people that do these businesses, they love the work, they love the industry, they have all the passion, but they don't have real good business acumen. Okay. Their ability to say, hey, maybe we're growing too fast, or maybe we're not growing fast enough, or even the ability to say, maybe I went just a little head first into this business and really didn't think about what I was doing. I have lived that life. All right. It's not for me. But again, that's not to be to insult or disrespect people who do it. It's just, I find that if you are the type of person that I'm a slow but steady gainer. I will go slow and steady, slow, steady. I don't need what is it, the rat race. And unfortunately, owning a business, in my experience, it takes a lot from the spouse that doesn't own the business. Because usually it's going to be one person that owns the business and the spouse is kind of on the side, assisting or helping. I've done that part too. And this is exactly why I would not make a good spouse for this dude. And he's married. Sounds like a second marriage because, or maybe it's a first marriage for him. I don't know. But the woman that he's married to already has a child. So now they've got their own child together. And now they're going to live the rat race of, hey, we make 4 to 5 million in a business, but now we're broke. I've just done it before. I'm not a good spouse. There are better women out there, family, that make much better spouses to the people with that entrepreneurial spirit.
The best they can.
Okay. How much debt have you got?
All together, including my personal, is $360,000.
Honey, it's all personal.
Where's my fan? Oh, family. What was that speech I just gave you not too long ago, like 2 seconds ago, about why I do not do well with this? Family, I'm telling you, people, this just, I can't do it again. I kid you not. I'm not here to, insult anybody, and I will not say what relationship it was, okay? Because I have dated and been married, okay, to keep the people private. Because if you've watched me, I really do try to keep past relationships private as to who it was, okay? Because I don't believe in outing anybody, all right? But with that said, one person that I was in a relationship with years back, literally, okay, walked in the door with a cake and said, I've quit my whatever $1,000 a year job, because I don't want to give it out. I've quit my job and I'm starting a business. I kid you not. He walked in with, I think, 2-3 balloons, a cake that was probably from Walmart. And I don't even know. I think it was a leftover cake. And I remember sitting and going, oh, great. And now what are we going to do? Just because a business looks like it's making money, this business clearly looks like it's making money. Okay, doesn't mean it is. And that has been my experience. And when a business is not making money, the biggest gripe that I have, and it's not that I want to sound selfish, okay? I don't want to work for the family business. All right. Now, the Ramseys, they got nepotism, all over the place. Okay. I think the whole freaking family works for the business, but that's fine. And it's benefited all of them to do it. That's cool. I don't want to work for the family business. I just don't. All right, we're going to back that up because I about lost it. 360,000. Hold on, family. Here we go.
How much debt have you got?
All together, including my personal, is $360,000.
Honey, it's all personal. You signed for every bit of it. Some of it's in the business bucket, but the bank doesn't call it that. They have Matthew on the hook. So, 360. How much do you own a home?
Yes, I do.
Is that part of the 360?
No, that is not.
So you have 360,000, not counting your house, on what?
Just owing vendors and getting behind. I had a bad dealing. A guy owes me 120.
Oh, let me guess. This dude that he was supposed to go into business with, it turned out that the business deal didn't work because the dude that he was supposed to go into business with, whatever his obligation was, he couldn't do it. And so that all reverberated on him being the caller. The caller is Matthew in Springfield, Missouri. The caller was relying on this other dude. He couldn't come through. And now we're all SOL down the stream. That's pretty much what this is all about. How many times have people heard that in business? Well, it's not really my fault that our business sunk, honey. You see, this person over here didn't do their part. It doesn't matter. And that's the whole point. When you are self-employed, there is nobody to fall back on. There is nobody to blame. It's all on you. You are the CEO, the CFO, the diversity coordinator, financial planner. I'm just kidding.
20 grand, went to court, got a judgment. Now we're trying to collect on the judgment. It's mostly vendors and subs.
It's always going to be vendors and subs. Who else do you do business with? Everybody is a vendor to some sort. Family, I'm telling you, I stand on it. I stand on it. This is why I don't wish to deal with self-employed. Okay. There are times I crawl in bed at night and I just think to myself, it's so nice. I'm going to my W-2 job tomorrow. I know it's not exciting. I know it's not fun. I probably don't know 5 people. No, let's make it 2 people. I don't know 2 people outside of education that would want to be teachers, but that's okay. It's right up my alley. I can dig it. This I can't handle. I can't handle the stress.
Equipment.
And
how much do you owe on your equipment?
On equipment, things that I could sell right now is about $73,000.
I'm sorry. Why couldn't you sell all of it?
Well, Dave, he can't sell all of it because he probably needs some of the equipment to make the money with. The money that he's not actually making, at least in the real sense. On paper, see, this thing about self-employment, folks. On paper, you look rich. Okay. On paper, you look rich. But when it comes to what's actually in your account, you broke. So he probably can't sell the equipment.
Well, right now I'm upside down on most of it.
How much do you owe on equipment?
I never got, the whole time I was married, we were always upside down. Always. Okay, I'm not going to give the details of the business numbers or anything in that like that, but we were upside down. Family, if you're $1 short, you're upside down.
Equipment.
73,000.
No, you said that's what you could sell. You owe more than that on equipment.
No, 73,000 is what I owe on the equipment.
That's everything on the equipment. So you have everything. You have vendor debt to the tune of $290,000.
Family, that's a house. That is a house. Oh my God. Do you see? I've never slept so well as to when I was a W-2 employee. But when you are with somebody who's just running this up, this is not a business. It can't be a business if you're in debt. It does not. Okay. Most business, I understand, go on some sort of debt. But when you're talking family business, okay, if that is running on debt, it only runs when there are creditors and vendors that don't get paid. It only runs if the spouse, looking at myself, okay, pitches in and helps with the labor. It only works if the spouse, looking at myself, pitches in and helps with the dollars of keeping the business open. I don't care if it's from paying for an LLC, business license, whatever. This is the problem. This dude, Matthew, in Springfield, Missouri, he probably loves what he does. But if he's up to, what is it? I wrote down it, $4 to $5 million, and this isn't making money. It's not made money for a long time. He's just been able to ride on the debt of the business for a long time. Don't get fooled, family. For those of you who have never dealt with self-employment, okay? It doesn't matter how much money a company grosses. Okay? It doesn't matter. If in the end, the business isn't in the black and it's in the red, then the whole business is running on debt. And it can run on debt for years. Heck, what did the pandemic teach us about a lot of these restaurants? What has the pandemic, family, taught us about restaurants? What's been happening to restaurants lately? It's okay if you don't follow the news. I'll keep you posted. They're going bankrupt like crazy. But these are restaurants that have run for 40 years. Yeah. But if they're running on margins that are so tight, they're running on percentages, single digit is what they're usually running on. I think grocery stores run on 1% to 2% margins. Okay. These restaurants that have lasted so-called for years and years, but they're running on such tight margins. A pandemic came and it's wiped half them out. The latest one being red, something to do with red. I can't think of what it's. Hey, Jamie's here. Jamie's in the house. Hi, Jamie. It's Red Lobster. Now, aside from their outstanding cheddar biscuits, okay, the cheddar biscuits are real good at Red Lobster. Everything else is overpriced, just overpriced. And veer with me for a second, family. Just veer with me for a second. Did you hear about the Red Lobster? Is it the all-you-can-eat crab deal that they did? They're claiming that partly has contributed to their bankruptcy. I don't think the all-you-can-eat crab deal in and of itself did it, but people came out in such hordes that it didn't help. But how is it that these restaurants have run for decades? Because they've been running in the red. And if there were restaurants that were successful, how were they successful? They were successful because other restaurants that were weak, all right, managed to pick up the slack. Hold on, I'm going to move screens over here. Hey, what does Jamie write? She says, restaurant, retail stores, and grocery stores are closing. Yes, they are. Red Lobster closing. Yes. No, it's not your understanding. You are absolutely right. Red Lobster is closing. And another restaurant is also filing for Chapter 7. I can't think of it. If I think of it, I'll tell you, but I heard about it today. Guys, these are huge change. Oh, by the way, if you have gift cards to any of these great big restaurants, I would suggest that you use them and very quickly because I don't know if anybody remembers when Sharper Image went bankrupt, they were giving people 25 cents to the dollar. So you had $100 gift card when they did Chapter 7 reorganization. Guys, this was like over 20 years ago when Sharper Image, which is now just a shell of its former self. Okay. Yes, the Sharper Image stuff that you see when you're at Costco or Sam's Club. All right. It's just a shell of its former self. When they went under, because I was living in Portland at the time, and they literally were giving people 25 cents to dollar. If you have any gift cards to any of these restaurants, I don't care if they've gone bankrupt or not. Guys, use your restaurant gift cards and use it fast. Use it for takeout. I don't care. Grubhub, whatever. Oh, my goodness. Now, let's see. Where were we? Let me back up just like 10 seconds.
So you have vendor debt to the tune of $290,000.
Yes, that's where we were. Vendor debt to, let's just make it 300, okay? 300.
Yeah. And a $120,000
judgment lien that's an asset.
Yeah. So 170's left. How much of it?
Well, I feel much better having it be 170. I don't know about you, family, but that is much better than the 290 we had.
It's like just.
No, he's not getting that judgment. So, but that's okay. Anyway, I don't think you're going to collect on that judgment. Do you, Matthew?
No.
Well, we'll hear next week. The bank's supposed to respond.
No, the guy you sued doesn't have any money.
Yeah. You can get a judgment. How many landlords right now, family, have eviction judgments against people who did not pay during the pandemic, but probably could have? How many? Probably thousands. I won't say millions, but I'm definitely going to be comfortable saying thousands. Are they going to get anything out of it? No. And even if now I don't know if can you file bankruptcies on judgments? I don't know if you can or not. I don't know. I don't know. So I know some things you can't file bankruptcy on, like you can't file bankruptcy on a judgment against child support, stuff like that. But don't businesses all the time? All right. When they find that they can't pay their judgments, they try to go file bankruptcy. Something to think of.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah, I would assume so too. So you're not going to get
I know so.
any money. Lawsuits don't make people have money that they don't have.
Yeah.
So you're not getting that money. So what have you been making profit in the last 12 months?
I don't really know exactly the answer to that.
And that, family, that is why, one more reason, I don't want to deal with someone who is self-employed. I don't. Numbers for a lot of people are self-employed because they love their hobby so much. That's what they're focused on. They're not focused on the dollars. It's kind of like musicians. They love their music so much that they just sign any contract to anybody. Hey, Horn. Nobody calls me by Horn. Is this somebody I know? Do you know who is something or other? Juan. Who's Juan? Well, speak up, my child. We're all waiting to know. If you're one of my former students, please remember I've had over 1,000 of you. So I apologize if I forgot. Just saying. But I'm glad you're here. Okay. So anyways, back to what I was talking about. Yeah, the problem is a lot of business owners, you ask them the numbers, they don't know. Why would you be a business owner and not know your numbers? Why? That's just I mean, it's a rhetorical question. Okay. It's just something to think about. But that's the problem. A lot of business owners don't know their numbers. So how do you run a business when someone says, how much does your company make? I don't really know.
It's been a downward, like up and down. And then about, I would say October last year, it kind of fell off a cliff. I know my monthly revenue has been about 250,000 for the last part of last year each month. Then it went.
Isn't revenue everything that a business takes in before profit and loss? Family, I'm not an expert at business terms. Okay. I think that's revenue is everything that a business takes in before profit and loss.
Down and down. And right now it's about 40,000 a month.
Okay. And what were you doing that was 200,000 a month in revenue?
We were building custom homes, multi-million-dollar custom homes.
Multi-million-dollar custom homes. It sounds like on a business that has no profit.
Is what we were specializing in at the time.
Oh, gee. And look at the housing market, family. Look at the housing market today. Although here in Tampa, on Del Mabry, just up the street from me, they're building buildings from scratch. Now, I'm not talking about skyscrapers, okay? But you drive by, it's like that looks like it'd be big enough for a furniture store. But that's good. Not only is it getting people employed, but it says that there might be some promise in the future for our economic conditions we're all in. So I actually was happy to see that, okay. And we're talking, they're building new, like from the ground up.
How many homes do you have now that are just spec out there?
Oh, I don't own any. I don't even actually have any new construction projects going on at the moment.
Okay.
That whole silence, folks, that's from the show. It's not me being slow on the trigger. That is from the show. It's because we're all at a loss, because really what's going on in our head is, holy crap, $300,000. Okay, this guy's in debt for. He's supposed to go to court. He's, even if he gets the judgment for him, all right, it's not going to probably be collected on. And he owes so much that even that judgment is still only going to cover about maybe half of his actual debt right now. I mean, it makes me ask myself, how does a business that big, how do you get out of debt so you're actually making a profit? And the only thing that I can think of perhaps is that they expanded too fast. They took on too many projects too fast. Okay, let's see here. Jamie says, that's a huge problem if you don't know what the numbers are. Yes, it's your money coming in. Your profit is revenue minus expenses. See, thank you, Jamie. I knew you would know. Thank you. All right. So my thinking is he expanded too fast. And there was a period of time. Remember folks seeing on YouTube, for those of you that watch YouTube, don't forget to watch this channel regularly. Okay. But do you remember watching stuff on YouTube that as soon as a house went up, okay, there were literally people lined around the block to buy it, and they were willing to purchase it sight unseen, which is just stupid in my eyes. Okay. I don't care what the house is or the condo or whatever. I wouldn't buy a car sight unseen, much less a house. Okay. But that's just my opinion. All right. Live and let live. But I think it's proving to be a very bad idea for a lot of people. But when times were great, there were a lot of YouTube channels that were talking about how the guys in this type of home business and in construction, all that, they were just raking in the money. But something that someone, I don't know, maybe in a school teaching profession where we're used to going slow, teachers, we don't make money fast. We make it slow. And not just teachers, but other industries as well. Oftentimes the service industry, the nonprofits and stuff. Okay. But something I've always been aware of is, you know what? When the times are the best, that's when you need to tighten up. Yeah. because I know, and you should know, all right, that at some point those good times don't last for forever. And I'm talking the economic good times, okay? I'm not talking about who you are as a person and being at zen with yourself, okay? Hopefully that'll last for forever, all right? But for people like me, people want to know, why do teachers tend to retire so well? Why is it that somebody can work at a DMV for 30, 40 years and retire in better shape than people who have made 2, 3 times the income? It's because we've learned it's when times are good that we need to actually tighten up. But instead, people tend to do the opposite. They go, oh, times are great. And I'm willing to bet, with my experience of, dealing with self-employed people, that he probably said, "Hey, the times are great. I'm just betting here, okay? Betting you a Pepsi at Thornton's for 89 cents plus tax." That he probably said, "Hey, the times are great. Let's expand." And I'm willing to bet you that's what he did. But imagine if he had taken this business, he had actually tightened it up. I mean, looked at his spouse and said, "Okay, honey, you know what? The times are really great. We're going to use this opportunity to get out of debt. Yeah, maybe our business won't be, what is it I wrote down? Maybe our business won't be 4 to 5 million. Maybe we'll have a business that's, let me just throw out a number, that's worth 2 million. But it's going to be 2 million of foundation. It's going to be sturdy. It's going to be solid." This is just my experience of dealing with self-employment. Not for myself, but having been in 2 relationships where people were self-employed. But people don't buckle down like that. Instead, they expand, expand. And guys, big businesses, how often have you heard big businesses on the news say, their PR person will say something like, "Well, we grew, or we expanded. We expanded rapidly during such and such time period. It was usually the booming years. And then what happens when the booming years go? Well, it's bust, and now they have to shutter doors." But imagine if during those booming years they said, instead of trying to get bigger, let's try to get stronger. Just something to think about. Let's see, what did Jamie write? Now, on live streams, family, this is just how we do it. It is casual. People are free to write in as they wish. All right. Oh, you're welcome. He might need to sell, but I'm sure if he can sell out of judgment. But I'm sure if he can sell during she's not sure if he can sell during a judgment. I don't know. If anybody knows, feel free to chime in. All right. All right, let's continue on.
Okay. So here's the thing. It sounds like, and I work with entrepreneurs all the time. We've got about 10,000 of them in our Entre Leadership program. Okay.
Hey, if it's good enough for Dave Ramsey to advertise that, then I say, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button.
Okay. And it sounds like you're really good at building houses. It sounds like you're a very hardworking guy.
But he don't know anything about the finances because he treats his business like it's a hobby.
And you really suck at running the business.
Okay, we're all going to imaginary. Snaps, confetti, confetti, confetti. Yeah, exactly. You know what he should be? He should be the operations manager. He manages the operations of the business. As a matter of fact, I think a lot of people who are self-employed would make better operation managers than they actually make as the CEO of the business. Okay, or the CFO, all right, chief financial officer, chief executive officer. He knows the business clearly. And he can even contribute on how to expand the business, but he doesn't understand the math of running the business. And he's not the only one, family. So we have to be kind of gentle.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
That's what it sounds like. Because
no, it don't sound like it, Dave. It is what it is. Let's just say that's what it is.
you don't know any of your numbers. You don't know where the money's coming from. I grew up in the building and real estate business, and I can't figure out how you thought you were making $200,000 a month building custom homes.
But in all fairness, family, remember, Dave went bankrupt. I went bankrupt once. I went bankrupt twice. My 2 bankruptcies were still cheaper than his one. Okay. But now that we have been through that phase of our life, now we can look back at someone else and go, oh my goodness, Now we understand how they got into what they did. This Matthew in Springfield really ought to be, in my opinion, an operations manager. Jamie, don't you think he'd make a good operations manager? I think he would. I think he'd be great at operations, and I think that's for a lot of people, especially musicians too. Musicians typically seem to make lousy CFOs. Okay, tell them the money they can't figure it out, but tell them, hey, I want you to create this. I want you to build this. I will guide you with the fine. Here are the parameters of the budget that you're able to do it with. Then they can flourish at it. I make a great classroom teacher. I would make a lousy principal. Okay. I'm the type that, you give me the parameters. All right. Give me kind of a blueprint of what you want. And then I will use my skills and talent to the best of my ability to fulfill that request. But I would not make a great principal. This is why different people do different things. But unfortunately, in business, a lot of business people who are great operations people go, hey, I know this really, really well. That qualifies me to financially run the business. And we see what happens. Okay. This is what happens. And don't forget, this business is worth 4 to 5 million. Oh, and by the way, this just ran earlier today. All live streams. Okay. It's just going to be in my rule. All live streams will be calls that went within a day or two, not more than just a couple days. That's why it's the purpose of a live stream.
Because if you build a $5 million custom home, and if your builder's fee on that's $500,000, $600,000, it's going to take you 18 months to build that house typically. And that's not $200,000 a month. And if you'd have to be rolling these things off one a month, rolling off the end of the line to be.
Wouldn't that put him in the billions? Like if he was making $200,000 a month, now I don't know how many years he's been doing this. Wouldn't he be like a billionaire at this point?
Making
that
kind
was
of money.
Gross. I'm sorry. I meant that was my gross revenue, including like money that came in, and I had to pay subs, and I had to pay a lot. We had
okay. That's the customer paying you for building their house, and you're supposed to pay the subs that built their house. It's not even your money.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
That was just my revenue.
No, it's not your revenue. It was money coming in. It was money. Your revenue is from money that your company is actually making in profit. Your revenue is the builder fee. Your revenue is not the $2 million it takes to build the house. Right. That's the customer's money.
Oh, family, we are at Economics 101 with a 425 million dollar business. Ladies, this guy is taken for marriage. So, sorry about that. You're going to have to wait till the next guy comes along that, is going to run you up $300,000 in debt. This guy is spoken for, family. He is spoken for.
Follow me?
So, yeah.
Okay. So you never saw it. So how many houses a year were you building?
Last year, we had 10 total. Start to finish, and then just various remodel projects in between, a couple framing jobs.
And you don't have.
If he was your builder and you heard this phone call, would you have a lot of confidence in him? Think about that. Just something to think about that.
Anything going right now?
Right now, I got one addition. It really, interest rates went up and building kind of came to a halt in my area. For the area that I was working in.
I got you.
Now I'm trying to get some more work framing or doing something elsewhere. But
okay,
I'm down to just two.
And the 75,000, and so the vendors that haven't been paid, those are actually, you're in a mess. Those are actually customers' money.
Yeah, no. I do miss bedtime chit-chat story time. Though that series ended family. That did end, but this is reminding me of the good old days. Okay, let's take a look at a couple comments here. And I read the comments out loud because I know some people are working and some people are exercising, so they can't look at the screen. But don't worry, I got you covered. Okay, Jamie writes, yes, he'd be a good operations manager. She writes, I'm a great team lead and a lower manager. I don't do well working something or other. I got a little heart symbol that covers up kind of the end of the screen. So oh wait, you know what? I just realized maybe I can slide it down. Well, I can't read the last word that you have on there, but yeah, I'm a great team lead. See, Jamie would be a team lead. I could go one step above team lead. And then we got all the other higher managers there too. See, there's nothing wrong with that, folks. The ship doesn't row because of the captain. It rows because of everybody. Is it in stewage? Stewage? Why no? What is it called? The bottom of stewage? Or something like that. The people at the bottom, they're doing all the rowing, You see that in the old movies. Okay, well, back on topic. Hey, you got to be flexible on this channel, family.
That you've used.
Yeah, the vendor debt, it's roughly, I don't know exactly.
Yeah, like subs that did work on my house that you were building for me and you didn't pay them. They're going to put a lien on my house.
Oh, dun, 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 dun. Oh my goodness. Yes, family, I'm working on a soundboard. Until then, you've just got to live with my analog noises, okay? Wow. Oh my goodness. Oh, what a tangled web we weave when we don't pay our contractors, family.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think this guy knows. People put in the comments, do you think he knows what he's doing with this business? Because the more I hear about this business, I wouldn't want him building my house. What company does he work for, Dave? Let him spill the beans, okay? Family, if you're in Springfield, Missouri, okay, you might want to do some sleuthing as to who this guy is. I don't really think this guy knows the trail of the money. And here's the thing. With as big of a business as he has, I think he's the owner. He may not know all the technicals, which is why you usually hire somebody that you hope won't screw your business over financially, and you're always doing a check and balance, okay? But he really should know, it seems to me, like Econ 101 of how this business runs, and I don't think he does. I'm sensing he doesn't understand it. Not as he should as the owner. Remember, this is the owner. This is the owner. We're not talking, this isn't the lackey in the back, okay? This is the guy that's supposed to be running the ship, that does all the hiring and all of the firing. And he said he was down to 2 employees. That tells you how bad things are. If I were those 2 employees, I'd be looking for a job.
Yeah, this is really dangerous. Okay. Scary stuff. So, wow. Yeah, you had no bookkeeping systems and processes, nobody watching the flow of cash, nobody watching the flow of cash that knew what they were doing, and it just money coming in, money going out. And when the music stopped, there weren't enough chairs.
And this, again, is why I don't feel badly when I say I don't wish to be involved with someone who is self-employed. I just don't. And he's got a baby on the way. He's got a woman who's already got a first child. Hopefully daddy's paying support to that. But this is why.
Do you still have people on payroll, Matthew?
2.
Just 2 people. I laid everybody off. That was W-2 employees. Now
imagine when things were good. Okay. Things were good. If he had not worked so hard, because truly to get to $4 to $5 million, he had to have spent a lot of time growing this business. And just like I said earlier, with restaurant businesses and many other businesses, he grew too fast. And when times were good, he didn't buckle down. You know, some of the most financially stable people today, I believe, and I'm speaking for myself. Part of the reason we're financially stable today, even though, what is it? Inflation has hit us really hard, is because when the times were good, I didn't keep spending more. I stopped and I said, whoa, times are good. We're getting, and again, we're putting COVID aside. Obviously, COVID was a medical thing. I'm not referring to COVID as being times were good. So please understand that. But COVID aside, okay, we got stimulus checks. How many people went out and bought big screen TVs? How many people instead stuck it towards their student loan when their student loan was 0%? Or I took and I used it to pay off my mortgage. Okay. When times are good, people who are financially smart, we buckle down those hatches. We don't necessarily look to expand and get more and more and more. We look at the layout we currently have. We look at our current landscape and we go, hey, you know what? I can make this bill lower. I can do this repair to the house. I can fix this problem on the car. We don't sit and go, hey, let's go get a bigger car. Let's go get a bigger house. I really think that the ability to buckle down when times are good and to resist a lot of that spend. Now, that does not mean, family, that you cannot, when times are good, go out and have a little extra. Okay. A modest extra. I know I bought me some extra bunt pans, the Nordic Ware bunt pans, because I only own like 30 of them and I wanted number 31. Hey, was what part of my business was my sort of business, quasi business. Okay. But we're talking a $40 pan times maybe 4. When times were good and the stimulus checks came in, I didn't say go, hey, you know what? Let's see if I can get myself into a $45,000 car. In fact, when times were good and my 14-year-old bed mattress needed to be replaced because, well, it was 14 years old, I actually told myself I am not going to change that 14-year bed mattress. Yes, that's how long I had it, but I'm clean and tidy, so it was in good shape, But I told myself I'm not going to change it. Even though the times were great, the stimulus money was coming in, my job as a teacher was solid, yada, yada. I instead said, I'm going to take it and I'm going to get this mortgage paid off. And I will not get me a new mattress until the mortgage was paid off. I'm now sleeping on my new mattress because the mortgage got paid off in fall 2022. I really think this is the difference between people, even in today. Okay. They're the people that we aren't suffering as much. Yes, we agree that rent is ridiculously high. Yes, we understand inflation is a beach right now. BEACH, inflation is a beach right now. But why are some of us not drowning? Why is it some people have still been able to pay off their student loans? And God love you if you did. Okay, you were able to do that. All right. Why is it that not everybody is suffering? Because when times were good, we buckled down. We closed the hatch. We didn't let the good times get away from us. This guy here, I don't recall them saying how old he is. Okay. But my guess, if somebody heard his age, please type it in the comments. All right. But my guess is that he's not that old. And so he's still in the mind frame of, hey, you know what? We're making a lot of money. Let's expand. Imagine if he had not expanded, though, and he had buckled down those hatches. He wouldn't have had to lay off employees. As a matter of fact, he might have even had, say, 4 employees instead of just 2. It's that ability to delay self-gratification even when things are great.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
And
I'm sorry.
What I kind of come to realize.
How old are you?
I'm 23.
Oh my goodness. I was just asking how old he was. Family, he's 23 years old. Oh, he's I was like, did I miss his age? How many of you thought he was like, I know. I put him in his early 30s. I'm a good 10 years off. This kid is Dave Ramsey all over. Okay, look at Dave Ramsey's face. He's got his face literally on the microphone. I could freeze frame this shot and make it a meme. Okay. This is Dave Ramsey, folks. Dave Ramsey's having a phone call with himself because, Dave Ramsey went bankrupt in his early mid-20s from doing a business with real estate. Guys, this kid's 23. I was off at least 10 years. Let's all inhale deeply on that for a minute. Inhale and exhale. He's 5 years out of high school, basically, and he's effed this up really bad. Now, he can recover, but you know what I'm thinking? Thinking bankruptcy. Yeah, I think this business is shot. He's 23, and now it explains a lot of the concerns that we've addressed. All right, lack of understanding the technicals of the business, the finances, the labyrinth, the maze of the business. He doesn't understand it. This was a hobby. This was a hobby that got out of control. I don't think the business is salvageable. Let's see. Karen writes, not a clue. Yeah, he's got not a clue as to what is happening. I think that's what Karen means. Yeah. And now that we know he's 23, we're like, oh, now, family, this is starting to make sense. Jamie writes, wow, he is around my adult kid's age. I hope he learns from this mishap. Yeah. This is knowing his age, guys. I think the business needs to be shuttered. This is Dave Ramsey. This should be bringing nightmares back to Dave Ramsey. Wow, right after I said, how old is he?
I mean, seriously, I'm like, do you liquidate assets? Like you're
This business is done. Now that we know his age. Now, again, it doesn't mean that people who aren't older don't make the same mistakes. Clearly, they make those mistakes. Clearly. All right. So we can't all fault it just based on his age. But with the things that we know, okay, and we're talking about this kid, literally kid, and this situation, right? We're going to put everybody else out of our mind. It explains now why he's so naive about how this business is running, because I have stated he doesn't seem to know what he's doing. And I did say there's just something about his lack of knowledge that I would not feel comfortable if he were building my house. Now I can tell you he absolutely would not be building my house or contracting it or anything else. This is what homeowners fear when someone takes on a project. And I hate to say it, okay? I am more than happy to hire the guy that is 50 years old and has been doing this for decades. I'll take that over a 23-year-old contracting out my house. But now it starts to make sense. You see this? Now it's making sense.
So
home that you have.
So what
you
what is
live
the
in?
equipment that you own? The 70,000.
It was pretty much enclosed trailers, all enclosed trailers. I've already sold the skid steer, the gooseneck. I've already sold those, but I didn't have any loans on those. Those were all cash.
Mm-hmm.
I paid for in cash.
Mm-hmm. So you mean
this kid's treating this business like it's just he's treating it like it's a toy. Okay, he's got all this stuff. He's juggling it all around. He's literally treating this business like he's a kid playing with his toy trucks. There's nothing professional about this business and the way it's being run at all. It's literally just hit and miss.
like an 18-wheeler trailer that you're using for storage on sites?
Like they're enclosed trailers, like that you pull behind pickups. I
Okay.
had quite a bit of them. I think 7 at one time.
Okay. And they're all up for sale and you're trying to get them sold for whatever, but they're not going to bring the full 70.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
What do you owe on your pickup?
That, or I could let them get repossessed. I really don't. That's where
No, you need to sell them because when they repossess them, they're going to sell them for nothing and sue you for the difference. What do you owe on your?
And then he can file bankrupt. If this were Monopoly, he's lost Park Place, Boardwalk. He's even lost his get out of jail free card. Once I found he was 23, there is no get out of jail free card on this. This business is sunk.
Your pickup.
On my truck, I owe $12,000.
Okay. All right. You're going to have to go all the way back to the beginning and start your business over because you were really good at it when it was small and go from there. And I'm going to give you an entree leadership.
Okay. What did I just say? Wouldn't he have been better off? Even if the business, I think I said something like 2 million, he would have been better. but he is not qualified to run a business. So whether he starts from the beginning or not, he is not qualified to run a business. He needs a financial person. All right, folks, we are going to take a 3-minute break.